So for our first question, we will be working with the SList class. So let's go through that first. So a couple things to take note of. The first variable is an int node object that always points to the first element of our list. Each int node object has an item variable of integer type and a next variable of int node type. Additionally, we have the method addFirst, which appends a new int node instance to the front of our list. In question 1.1, we are asked to implement the insert method inside of the SList class, which takes in an integer x and an integer position, and inserts x at the given position. If position is after the end of the list, then we insert the new node at the end. We also assume position is non-negative. So let's walk through a couple examples before we actually try to implement this method. So let's say we start with a SL list that looks like this, with elements 5, 6, and 2, and we want to insert 10 at position 1. So we will get back something that looks like this. Now suppose we want to insert 9 at index 7, which happens to be after the end of our list, so we just add 9 to the end. So now let's actually try to implement this. So in the simplest case, we have an initially empty list in which we would want to set the first variable to a new int node object. This would just be a call to the instance method addFirst. Also notice that if our SL list is empty, then first would be equal to null. So another case in which we want to call addFirst on x and terminate is when position equals 0. So we can actually combine these two conditionals into one. So to begin, we have if first is equal to null, or if position is equal to 0, then we're going to call addFirst on item and then return. Otherwise, we would need a pointer to the int node instance that we are going to modify. So once this is obtained, we will set the next variable of this int node object to a new int node object whose item variable will be set to the value of the item argument that was passed into the function. So for reference, we initially have the following list, where first points to the head of the list. We want a temporary pointer, so let's call it current node, and this will also point to the beginning of the list. So the idea here is we want to increment current node so that it points to the node that should have a pointer to the new element after being inserted. So this can be achieved through a simple while loop. So here we have while position is greater than 1 and current node.next is not equal to null. We're going to decrement the position, and then we're going to set current node to current node.next. In our example, current node would not be changed since position is equal to 1. So now that we have our pointer to the correct place in the list, we can now create a new int node object whose item variable will be set to our argument passed in, and the next variable of this object will point to current node.next. So here's what our pointers would look like at this step. So now all we have to do is connect current node to new node, and we can do that by setting current node.next to new node.